So you've just picked up Age of Empires 3 because it's free to play now, and you want to play as the British and you're looking for a build order. Well, this is the British Colonial Musketeers build order, which is an El Clasico. Shown on your screen now is the guy who originally wrote it in 2016, and it's not changed too much since then. I asked around and people said it's still basically the best way of doing things. A couple of things have changed, so I wanted to make this video. I'm not the best player at this game. I'm alright, I think. And basically, anybody better than me didn't make the video. So you're stuck with me. So how do you do this? Well, basically, you're going to be in Age 2, and you're going to be fighting, making lots of musketeers, and then eventually you'll back it up with some hussars. This works quite well against civs like the Ottomans. And yeah, when you start the game, you put 3 people on crates. I know we've missed it now. And 3 on hunts. You queue villagers as fast as possible, and you constantly queue villagers. And what you do is you build a manor house. This will give you an extra settler. And you build a market. With the market, you get your explorer, and you want to get a treasure on the map that contains coin. And that will allow you to research hunting dogs, which we just saw researched here. Hunting dogs makes your villagers gather food faster, which will make you age up faster. So now there's a bit of a downtime, and you see that we're trying to herd the animals under our town centre. When you shoot the animals, they'll go in the opposite direction to where you shot them from, like that. So you want to keep them under your town centre, so that if anybody tries to kill you, you can jump into your town centre. So with our first shipment, we're going to send 3 villagers. This is the deck. It's also available in the description. And essentially, you're going to be sending 3 villagers, and then you're going to wait to age up before you send your second shipment. So this guide will comprise of a couple case studies. This is the first case study where nobody's pressuring you, and you can just have a good time of it. So always produce villagers. Your 3 villagers are going to come in. Everybody should be on food.
Ready.
Use your explorer to scout the enemy base. This is what I see at this point in the game. So we know where his base is. We know he's picked up this trading post. That's good. When we get our musketeers, we can try and kill this. So, continuing to gather food. I've got this guy on wood, which is a mistake. He should be gathering food. Like I said, better players were not available to make this guide, so you're stuck with me. And you see that the market is placed in front of, between the town centre and the enemy. This is another thing you can do. In future case studies, we will see how useful that can be. That means that anybody coming to you has to get around the market before he can kill your guys. So, as soon as you age up, you want to age up with the governor, which is the politician that gives you 200 coin and an outpost wagon, and you switch everybody to wood after gathering 100 extra food. And the reason you gather 100 extra food is so you can research gang saw. You don't need to remember all this now, we'll go through it a few times, and it's available in the description. The description should be your first reference. There's also a link to the original guy who posted it. You know, thanks to him and everybody else that helped me with this. So everybody's on food. Everybody's on wood now, and what we're going to do is build 2 houses and a barracks. So there's our first additional house. So we had this one at the start. We get a shipment, and we are going to send 700 wood. But obviously, we don't do that yet because we haven't aged. So we've also sent a villager forwards. And we're going to build the second house up here. You don't have to, but this villager has nothing better to do while we wait for the outpost. I'm going to deploy the outpost right here, and we're going to put the barracks next to it. You can't put it right under the town centre. There's a ring around the town centre that doesn't allow you to build buildings too close. But generally, you want to put this in a place that can deny a resource. So this was probably not the best place. Here would have been good, because then we would deny the enemy this gold mine. Or up here to deny him another coin mine. This is salt, apparently. And that would also deny him these hunts. So Joris Bonson's been engaged by Samir Gherkin here. And you can see that the Ottoman explorer has more HP. That's just a buff that the Ottomans get. So we're building the barracks. We put 3 people on coin now, so we swap 3 of our villagers to coin. Everybody's off wood and back to food. Once you have enough for the barracks and the 2 houses, you swap everybody off wood and back to food. Apart from these 3 that go to coin, of course. And now I was trying to do some hunting, but I'm under his town centre, so this is really silly. Don't do this, because he can murk these villagers straight away. Over here, I've been engaged, and he has some sort of assassin guy that I've never seen before, and he just murks my explorer really fast. So, first batch of 5 musketeers out. Never stop producing people from your town centre. And the 700 wood's here, so we're going to gather that up. And our next card's going to be 4 villagers. It used to be 5 villagers, but that card isn't in the game for the UK anymore. The UK has been nerfed. My opponent tries to build something here, so we kill that. And you don't want to stick under the town centre, because when he puts 10 villagers in it, he gets 90 attack, and that will murk these guys pretty fast. You see, it basically 2-shots them. It does 2-shot them. There's no basically about it. So, continue to produce musketeers. My opponent starts pinging all over the map. I'm not sure why. Sign of a deranged mind, I suppose. And with the 700 wood, you want to research steel traps, placer mines if you haven't already got it. That's the market upgrade that helps you mine coin. Steel traps helps you with food again. And you want to build as many houses as you can. Continue to train musketeers and settlers. You should be able to consistently produce batches of 5 musketeers. Units in this game are trained in batches, unlike in Age of Empires 2, for example, where they're trained one at a time. In this, they're trained in batches of up to 5. Usually up to 5. My opponent deploys Minutemen from his town centre, and Janissaries, which are his version of the Musketeer. They're better than the Musketeer, but they are more expensive. So we just sort of run away, and we've got another 5 out here. We're continuing to gather food. We've got 2 people on wood, which we shouldn't really have. They should be on food. But it is what it is. And his armies come out here, so we march under his town centre again, try and shoot some villagers, but he's got them all back here. He's not gathering this food here. So we just get back there. And our next card, as per the build order, is 600 wood. With the 600 wood, we're going to build a stable, and we're also going to build more houses. The advantage of building houses as the British is not only does it help you sustain your population, which is getting quite big now, but it also gives you a settler every time you create a house. So as you can see, we have 32 settlers, and my opponent has 23. So we're booming quite well here. So we sent those guys back, and then we send these guys forwards, and then we send these guys forwards. Basically, we're just spamming out musketeers, trying to kill villagers. If you kill an Ottoman villager, it's a pretty big deal, because they can't produce villagers like us normal people can. Their villagers are produced automatically by the town centre, but at a slower rate. And that's what this mosque is for, that helps them with that. So we're back over here sieging this down, and we're still trying to produce batches of 5 musketeers. Sometimes you won't manage it. And the wood's arrived, so we can build more houses, and we can build a stable. Pick our explorer up here, and we're just continuing to pressure him and keep him in his base. Eventually he will run out of animals around his town centre, and then he'll probably go for these ones. And once he's got those, then he has to go for these, at which point we can starve him out. He does have berries under his town centre, but these gather slower than animals. I have an idle villager here. This is a game-losing play. And as you can see, we're still continuing to train batches of 5 villagers. So he's gone for a fast fortress, so he's now in age 3, which is pretty scary. And his age up bonus are these Abbas Gunners, which are guys with RPGs, and they are effective against infantry. They're effective specifically against this infantry. So with the 600 wood, we've now built a stable to augment our musketeers, and this is how the build works. You expect your enemy to start countering your musketeers, and that's why you then go stable. In some cases, you can just go double barracks and just produce as many musketeers as humanly possible. But yeah, we're in age 2, he's in age 3, but we're not going to age up. This is a crucial mistake I see a lot of newer players make. I mean, I'm by no means a pro, but I do see this happen a lot. I've done this on several occasions where he ages, and then I think, oh no, I need to age, so you stop making units, and then your enemy beats you up. So he's building an artillery foundry now, so we can get more of these Abbas gunners out to counter our musketeers, because we've got a lot of them now. We've got 42. And we're also starting to produce cavalry. Don't want to leave your TC idle. So once you've sent 3 villagers, 700 wood, 4 villagers, 600 wood, there are different things you can do. Sometimes you have to age, at which point you would send 700 coin. Other times you commit to the age 2. So you send musketeer damage, musketeer defense cards, and you could also send the cavalry damage, or you could send these units. Or you could send the coin and spend it on more units, but generally you leave the 700 coin for when you want to age up. So we've got map control, which lets us, farm all these hunts in the middle of the map. He's starting to run out of sources of food, he's constrained to his base. But because he's age 3, he gets this shipment of 2 cannons. And this is when he's strongest, or at least this is his timing push, and this is why we can't age. So you send the cavalry around the back to try and kill the villagers. You know they're going to be around here somewhere. So you just get a villager and then leave. Every villager killed is 1 less resource for the enemy. So then I walked in and I saw these cannons. So this was really quite unintelligent of me, because I just lose some guys for no reason. I should have stayed back here. The reason these guys are 1 HP is because these are his Minutemen spawned from the town centre when it's under attack. And then their HP slowly goes down to 1, so that he can't use them to burn down your base. Idle villagers here, not great. Remember, we've never stopped producing settlers, and we're just constantly producing as many hussars and musketeers as we can. I'm a bit mis-macroed here. I have too many people on food and not enough on coin, so I'm floating a lot of food. And I'm unable to finish my batches because I don't have enough coin. So that's something you need to watch out for. And you can use the explorer just to scout the back of his base and try and find those settlers. But at this point we've got 49 musketeers and 5 hussars here, 5 more here, 5 more on the way, so 15 hussars. Although some of them are out of position. And yeah, we're continuing to train batches of musketeers and hussars. We're committing to this age 2 play. So his janissaries are now veterans, and that's because he's aged up. But because we have these plus 10%, plus 15% damage and plus 15% defense, we can still fight these guys because we've got 2 card upgrades. You see his health is actually much higher, but our damage is a little higher. And yeah, it's all about how much damage can he do with these cannons. The Abbas guns counter the infantry, the cannons counter the infantry, and that's what we've got the cavalry for. The janissaries counter the cavalry because they've got, well, they should have bayonets, but in the game they just pull out a sword. So we've now got 59 musketeers, and I accidentally delivered my coin here, my 700 coin, which wasn't very smart. I should have sent cavalry combat instead, but here we go, he's attacking me now. So just get everybody to attack. He's got these Sipahis, and my pathfinding's terrible, but we're trying to get to those cannons. I'm playing it really badly, but we get to the cannons and we chop them up. And we've just got so many musketeers that, we just have way more units than him. So even though he's got an age on me, I have way too many units, and so I win the game. So that's case study 1. And if you check the description, you'll see the further case studies. Looking at the graphs, you can see that I had basically twice as many resources as him. This build works really well against the Ottomans, which is why I'm showing you it. And I had 87 military units made, he had 42. If we look at the timelines, you see that my unit count, so he wanted to age, and so he's not making anything here because he's aging. Whereas I decide I'm just going to fight it out in H2, that's what the build's all about. And so I'm just booming, making as many units as I can. I get 149, and I'm up against 80. If you switch to military units, similar story, 78 versus 39. And I get a lot more villagers than him. because of the wood used to build the houses. That gives you extra villagers. So yeah, that's case study 1. So I hear you say, that's all well and good, hippie, but what happens if my enemy tries to attack me, as opposed to just letting me sit there and do my plan? So the next 2 case studies will be what happens when your enemy attacks you and how the build can be altered to deal with that. So same setup again. With your villagers, you put 3 on hunts and 3 on the food crates. Train up extra villagers as fast as possible. You use your explorer to look for a coin treasure, and you really want that coin treasure. And you build a house and a market. By the end of this video, this should be drilled in pretty well, but it's in the description if you need to see it again. So you build a house and a market. We're trying to herd the hunts underneath our town centre. This map also has yaks, which are cool. This guy is trying to get that, so we're going to bully him a bit. Daddy Washington against Joris Bonson. So we should just be able to get this treasure by sniping that and then taking it before him. I have an idle villager, which is a huge mistake, but now I still don't have enough coin because that was a food treasure, so I still can't research hunting dogs. But we're just constantly producing villagers. Same deck again, we're going to send the 3 villager card as our first shipment, and we're just chasing this guy around the map, shooting him now. As you can see, he has a lot more HP. And that was a coin treasure, so I could have used that. Get those 3 vills in. If you punch somebody, they slow down. If you shoot them, they don't slow down. The reason for that is otherwise melee units would be useless, right? Because you could just run away. So that's why that's in the game. Here we go, we finally find a coin treasure. We need 50 coin, and that's a 20 coin treasure. So we're still not going to have enough coin. Or do we need 40? I can't remember, actually. Probably should have looked that up before doing the build order. Yeah, there you go, we need 50 coin. So I need some more coin treasures. I give up and decide that I'm just going to farm 10 coin instead, which you can do if you're getting bad luck with the treasures. So we get the 50 coin that we need, and then we overfarm a bit because we're a bad player. And we continue to overfarm because we're a bad player. We're a terrible player. There we go. And we now research hunting dogs, which makes us gather food faster. Obviously, the sense of urgency is lost if you switch 3 of your villagers to gold instead. But, like I said, we're showing what happens in a real game. I guarantee the first game you try this, it will probably go something like this. My enemy builds a mill in the middle of the map. I don't really understand the United States of America. They are my largest viewership audience. Is this a common site where you live, viewer? Please let me know. So he's built a mill here, and we're now aging. And once again, we're aging with the governor, which gives you 200 coin and a tower. And we switch everybody to wood. We gather up 100 food so that we can get gang saw, which should have been bought by now. But we're a bad player. We're a terrible player. Continuing to gather the axe on the map. I mean, it's just free, why not? We've still not researched gang saw because we're a terrible player. This terrible player has still not researched gang saw. And we send 1 villager in front to build, just do what we did last time, build the house, build the trade post. And then I pass this mill, and I'm like, what? So I send the explorer over, like, what the hell's going on here? And then I see the barracks, and I think, well, he's going to rush me, so there's no sense in building a barracks here, because his units will kill it. But I've committed to the house. The thing with British houses is that if your enemy destroys them, it's actually good for you, because then you can build another one and get another free settler. So we got enough wood for 2 additional houses. So we failed to build the 2nd additional house, and we got enough wood for the barracks. So we should have 3 houses at this point in the game, but instead we have 2 because we're a terrible player. And like I said, it's because I saw this mill, and then that just threw me off a little bit. Now he's got 2 musketeers. The American musketeers are from the future, so in Age 2 he gets regular line infantry. And you see that he's punching me because that slows me down. So I just run off. And these two I just send over here. I then buy the Greatcoat upgrade, which costs a bit of food, but what that does is it makes your villagers more tanky. And I know he's about to attack me, so I need to do that. Sadly, we don't have that third house because we're a terrible player. But I think most people will have stopped watching the video by this point, so it doesn't really matter. And now we're trying to get the first batch of musketeers. We know he's about to attack us because we saw all this crap here. Why else would it be there? You can, from the town centre, you can get colonial militia, renamed to town militia. This used to be called the colonial age. It's been renamed the commerce age. Not sure why. But the American colonial militia, the American Minutemen, do not lose more than half their HP when summoned from the town centre. So that's what his strat is. He's spamming these out and backing them up with regular infantry. So we've put the tower in a defensive position where it's quite hard to siege it down because the mill is in the way, the mine is in the way, and we've put the barracks behind the town centre, so if he wants to destroy that, then he has to walk around the town centre and take loads of damage. If you garrison 10 villages in your town centre, it gets 90 attack. And we sent that 700 wood. So, yeah. It's not going great for us, but he is fighting under the town centre, which means that we're getting shots out. And here we see the first deviation from the build. So we went 3 villages, 700 wood, and then we realised, well, if we don't get some more units, we're going to lose the game. So don't be too tied to your build. We then go for 6 longbowmen. These are good against infantry, basically. My opponent also gets units that are good against infantry, the state militia. So they're good against musketeers. So you might say, well, why not train longbows from this as well? The reason is that musketeers are easier to produce. They are 75 food and 25 coin. And longbows aren't actually that much better. So we send all the villagers out and get them to attack the enemy, because we're in a fight or flight situation here. So we get all the villagers out, get them punching, and then we put them back in. And that helps us a little bit. We send the yaks forwards as well. That's really helping. And we've successfully seen off his attack. So, in an ideal world, instead of sending the 700 wood, I would have sent the longbows and then the 700 wood. But instead we sent 700 wood and then longbows. Got some idle vills now. And we have this concern that, you know, if we go to get this food, we've herded very, very badly. This herd should be under the town centre. This herd should be under the town centre. If we go and get that, then these men will come and kill us. So these guys are doing alright though. So with the 600 wood, I build the stable. I mean, obviously the 600 wood hasn't come in yet. But I build the stable up here because I figure I need cavalry to raid my enemy. Because all my enemy's troops are in my base. So if I get my troops in his base, then I can kill all his villagers. He can't have that many villagers because he's got so many military units. So yeah, that's why the stable's up here. I could have instead put it down here and just path them round, but you can also put it up here. The issue is that if he discovers this, he can come and burn it down at no cost to himself. So we're trying to get full batches out, but we're a terrible player. I was housed, that's why. So, bit of a missed micro there. These are some of the mistakes you will make if your enemy keeps attacking you. You will not play a perfect game. So now we're trying to find these villages. Not sure where these guys are going actually. And we've decided to, instead of getting the 4 vills, we went for 6 musketeers because we need more people. We need more units. There's a big army outside my base, and we need more units. So we discover this next batch of Minutemen. He's just constantly training them from his TC. It's basically an all-in strategy. And we start switching to longbows because all we see is infantry. We lose a couple of villages, which ain't great. You really want to be gathering behind the town centre, so maybe on this mine. And we get these guys to try and kill his villagers. American villagers are tankier than regular villagers, I think. 153 damage. And we get a settler wagon, which is like 2 villagers, basically, so that's good. Oh, yeah, okay, so maybe they're not tankier than regular. So yeah, we're trying to get as many units out as we can. We've switched to longbows, which means that we need lots of people on wood, because longbows cost wood, and wood is the slowest gathering resource. So that's why musketeers can be better. But in a defensive position, because the longbows have better range, you can switch it up. Build longbows instead. On the attack, they're not very good, because they... The thing that makes their DPS high is that they attack twice as fast as regular units. So this is 1.5 and this is 3. So this attacks twice as fast. So even though this damage is lower, because it's shooting twice as fast, it's better. But when you're on the offensive, they have to stand still to take advantage of that. Because their aim time is 3 seconds. If you're from Warno, their aim time is 3 seconds. But their reload time is 1.5 seconds. So they're best used on the defensive. We're very much on the defensive. And we've got these hussars out, and we're just trying to draw his attention. Every second he spends not in my base killing me is a second I can use. I could be doing a better job of it, really. And now we send the 700 coin. Because I've bought myself some breathing room, and I figure I should probably try and age up. Is this a good idea? It's hard to tell. If I stay age 2, I can build way more units. But the issue that I've got is that he's got these... In age 2 he gets quite a good skirmisher unit that's good against musketeers. So if I just keep spamming out musketeers, I'm going to lose the game. So I need to get to age 3 and get some cannons, basically. So it looks like he's finally figured it out. Oh, he's changed his mind. So yeah, every time I... Oh, that would have been a good kill. I didn't see that. Every time I send these cav in, he's drawing his blob away. He should split his forces, really, and just put like 5 guys here and the rest near my base. But I'm just constantly trying to draw his attention. I didn't actually manage to kill anybody there. But I'm delaying his army, and meanwhile I'm aging up. So, yeah, I mean, it's not an exact following of the build order, but the point of this case study is to show you what happens when... does he know about this? Oh, he does. What happens when your enemy interrupts you, because that's going to happen a lot, and you need to remain adaptable. So we're on a defensive play, and by this is a mistake, I should have ran these guys away. By making these hussars, we're just constantly delaying him. Got some more out. And yeah, we're aging up, so we can get back to making units now. Neither of us have gone on the water. This strategy is not a water strategy. There are ways you can adapt it to use the water. But that is not inside the scope of this video. And once again I'm housed because I'm a bad player. And yeah, he's gone age 3 as well. So we're both going age 3. He's got some books. I'm just going to check his deck here. So yeah, you get 3 Gatling guns as the USA. That's the age 3 upgrade. Continuing to harass him here. Every second his villagers are walking around is a second they're not gathering, and that means less enemies to fight. So yeah, he can get 3 Gatling guns, which is my version of the Fortress Age shipment 2 Falconets. So Gatling guns are better against soft targets, Falconets are better against buildings. And yeah, so we sent our army forwards because we knew it was all the way up here because it was killing our hussars. Yes. And we managed to get another cheeky settler there. We just pull these guys back. we're just playing for time, because he's got this all-in strategy, and we don't. And then he surrenders. So, yeah, I mean, did he surrender a bit prematurely? That's up to you. But most of this army is trash. And my army is 25 longbowmen, which are good against most of this, 15 musketeers, and I've got these hussars just going around killing all his villagers. So if we take a look at the graphs, this game was really only going one way. I had 50% more resources than him. We had the same amount of military, but my most produced unit was the counter to his most produced unit. He's lost more people than me, and if you look at all unit count, I'm very far ahead. Like, I'm 20 ahead, and he's done this rush, it's just not worked out for him, because he attacked in my base, lost all these guys. Military population, you know, mine's gone up quite a bit. My next shipment was going to be 2 falconets, and then I was going to blow him up with 2 falconets. And as you can see, I had way more villagers, so I was just gathering way more resources than him. I believe we can see all resources. There you go. So I managed to beat back his attack and to outscale him. So that does it for case study 2. So this is another popular matchup, Britain versus Russia. Russia, it's in the name. He's probably going to rush me. Or at least you have to expect him to rush you. So we got Vladimir Putin here, up against Joris Bonson. And we've just done exactly the same thing once again. Should be very familiar to you now. But with, you know, practice makes perfect, right? So we typed good luck, have fun this time. Forgot the last 2 times. And yeah, we put 3 guys on food crates, 3 on hunts. And we're going to build a house and a mill. We're looking for a coin treasure so that we can get hunting dogs. Should all be very familiar to you now. Hunting dogs comes from the mill. And we're going to build a house next to this. We're up against Russia and we're expecting him to rush. So you see that we've got the market, sorry, in front of the town centre. You can view the town centre's attack range by pressing Alt. So you want it about there, because if he tries to siege this down with a normal unit, the town centre could shoot over it into him. And we put the house next to it. He's found my explorer and he's beating him up. So we put the house next to it and we're going to try and make a wall. We need to make a wall. Because the Russian's going to march in, and I'm just going to have to get a glass of water, sorry. I do apologise for that. Just had something in my throat. So, not picked a deck yet, but everything's exactly the same. Where we're going to send 3 vills, and you see that this deck is a little different. This one is called Enemy Might Rush, and you should have a version of the deck with this in it. What this is it's a card. It used to be called Colonial Militia. They've changed it to Town Militia because all references to colonialism have been removed in this game about colonialism. What this does is it makes your town centre deal more damage, and it makes it so that you can call out Colonial Militia for a second time. Minutemen, militiamen, whatever. So that's great if you're coming up against somebody who you know is going to rush you. So you should have a variation of the deck with this in it. Everything else is still the same. We sent the 3 vills. We've got the 700 wood, the 600 wood, the 4 settlers, the attack upgrades, the unit cards. Schooners is if you want to build on the water. This deck has that. That was probably a mistake because there's no fish in this little lake. Sorry, river. More of a stream, really. Anyway, this guy's pretty cool with his wacky. What even is that? I can't remember the name. And yeah, we've got Joris Bonson just scouting out the enemy town centre again. Should all be very familiar to you now. We're aging up with the governor, which gives you 200 coin and trading post. And we got hunting dogs from the market, and we got gang saw from the market. So, oh well, we're getting gang saw now because we're a bad player. But basically exactly the same. 3 vills on hunts, 3 vills on crates, and then all of them to hunts. You get your market and your house at the start. You research hunting dogs by getting a treasure that gives you coin. And when you age up, everybody goes on wood. You research gang saw. You build 2 more houses. You need to build 2 more houses as you're aging. And yeah, as you can see, we're building them in a nice wall around our base because we're expecting our enemy to come and hurt us. He's playing as Russia. You want to keep the hunts under your town centre, because if they're over here, the enemy's going to come and kill you. So these should really be under the town centre, and you can do that by shooting them, and they will go in the opposite direction. Our second card, instead of 700 wood, is going to be the Colonial Militia card. So this will make the town centre deal 50% more damage. And once again, we're going to build our outpost in a defensive position behind these houses. So he can't siege this outpost without coming around these houses. And all this time, the town centre is going to be shooting him. I could even have put this a little bit further back, actually. But villagers can garrison inside this. And great, so he's got H2, and he's building a defensive blockhouse. So I expected him to build the blockhouse up here, so that he can rush me down, but instead he's built it in his base. And we research Greatcoat again, because we expect to be rushed. You get Greatcoat from the market, it costs like 1 villager's worth of food. And it makes your villagers more tanky, makes them raid resistant. We build the barracks. We start training the musketeers, and we now send the 700 wood. So we're 1 card behind because we sent this town militia. But it's going to come in handy. We expect to be rushed. I'm still searching for the blockhouse, and then I see it here, and I think, you know, what's going on? Isn't he supposed to be rushing me? So we start murking these giraffes from Mother Nature. And we're trying to herd these zebras closer to our spawn so we can murk them as well. Over here, I do have more HP, so I should win this fight. But I'm conscious of the fact that he's probably training some military units. Strangely enough, though, my first batch of musketeers comes out before his first batch, so you know, maybe he doesn't play Russia a lot. All of the people I've played against in this video have like over 1,000 games. You can check their profiles. They all have a lot of games. I'm sitting on a cozy 500, but I do intend to play the game a bit more. Like I said, nobody better than me was available, so you're stuck with me. And yeah, with the 700 wood, we build some more houses, and we're going to research steel traps from the market. And placer mines if you haven't got that already. Usually you can get placer mines during the transition. So he's trained grenadiers. Or he might have got them in a shipment or something. And we're just going to continue to train musketeers. Idle villagers means you lose the game, so this game's already over. And yeah, 700 wood, 4 villagers, 600 wood. The only thing that's changed is that we sent this Colonial Militia card. And we're building the houses to make a nice wall between us and the impending Russian invasion. Might want to put some here as well, but for now I'm trying to keep this herd in here. Like, I'm trying to box off this herd so I can continue to get this food. If you shoot all your animals and they go to the corner of the map, it's a real pain in the neck because they don't gather them properly because of pathing issues. They get stuck on things. So you see this guy here, he's kind of stuck. It is what it is. And here we go. So he's got 5 Cossacks and 10 Strelets and 5 Ruskets. Ruskets are Russian muskets. And we just continue to train musketeers. I was convinced that he was just, you know, not doing anything, so I just came to siege this down because, you know, I've got nothing better to do. Although if he'd walked in with his army at this point in time, I would have been defenseless, so that's not very smart. And he's got the Cossacks here So he's just going for the treasures, which is a waste of time, really. You want to be killing villagers. So that's what these Cossacks are for. These are weak hussars, basically, but they're only 1 population, whereas hussars are 2. Russia has this issue where they never have enough houses, and yeah, as you can see, because all this was back here instead of under my town centre, all these people have been cut out, but they've got their great coat upgrade, and you see that this now does 135 damage. Crucially, Estrella has 72 HP with 35% range resistance, so this can one-shot Estrella when it's at 135.
Yes.
So we burn this down, and now we're coming back.
Yes.
Like I said, neither of us are top players, but I think it can be advantageous to see the build from somebody of a comparable skill level to yourself, because it's more realistic then, really. If you see some Superman with infinite APM doing it, then what are you going to learn? That's my cope, anyway. So, yeah, they're called recruits now, but we all used to call them ruskets back in the day, and these are just musketeers, except they're cheaper and they're worse. So we called them ruskets, as in Russian muskets. So I decided to just send all my guys into his base because he's got a few people here that aren't really doing anything, and I kill some vills. So that's great news. I get like 3 vills there. That's huge. And he's got some more ruskets out. We don't really want to fight him underneath the blockhouse and the town centre. This is really kind of stupid. So I continue to do it. But he sends his villagers out to keep gathering. So something of a comedy of errors, this game. So we kill more villagers, and every vill we kill is huge. And then on 87 HP I walk off. I should have just killed that. That was really stupid. But yeah, we walk off, and then he's caught me out with his main army here. So that was really, really unintelligent. Just really, really not smart. I could have killed that. That would have been big, because all the villagers would have popped out, and then I could have shot some more villagers. But instead, I try and disengage, and look at them all cheering at my demise. So that's not good. We've just lost our entire army. With the 600 wood, we got the stable, and now we're going to send longbows because we've just lost our entire army, and now he's coming for our base. So, you know, this is a showcase of what not to do, and I think that's important as well. I can't believe that. Like, so he's just repairing it now, but I didn't realise how low that was. We also have a bit of a hole in our wall, because we're a bad player. And yeah, he's looking for our vills, but there's none there. They're all over here, and we've got a bit of protection for them. I'm gonna send these guys around to raid some people, and now we're gonna send the coin, and now we're going to age up. So, in terms of case studies of the build, this is quite a lengthy one, in that the game will continue now because I'm going to go to Fortress Age. He could have attacked me, really.
Yes.
I'm not sure if he has the units for it. He's not raiding very effectively, but I've got musketeers trying to protect my guys, so I explained some of that. And we've managed to kill off quite a lot of his villagers, so that's slowing him down a lot. As you can see, we have 47 villagers, and we're about to try and age up. He's got 26, because we've managed to kill so many vills. He just doesn't have a lot. So we're going to get 2 more now. And yeah, we just continue producing the hussars. We've sent the 700 coin so that we can age up. Go and res our explorer. And then he starts training these guys, who I don't really understand them. I've not seen them before. Turns out that they have ranged bonuses against cavalry. So I just fought them thinking that they were just like normal infantry, but they're actually anti-cavalry infantry. They are quite weak though. Yeah. So this game has sort of devolved into a massive trash fight now. The build has run its course, and this is now just a showcase of what you can do when the game goes past that. So I'm going to speed it up a bit, it's probably not particularly relevant to the purpose of the video.
Yes.
Like I said, the builders run its course. He's not attacking me because he knows about this having the colonial militia thing. It'll just wreck all his guys. So we retreat inside our little coat cage, put the 10 vills in. Now he's attacking good, well and proper. We've got the musketeers though, and you want to use your town centre to focus down the Strelets because it will one-shot the Strelets. We call the Minutemen. We call the Hussars to prevent the retreat. And we've seen off his attack. Over on this side, we sent some villagers, and they got attacked by Ruskers. He's got lots of Ruskers. He's really spamming out those Ruskers. So we're now age 3, and we're going to send 1,000 wood. And the reason for that is that I need to build mills, because I can't get around the map, because he's got guys all over the map. And so if I get the 1,000 wood, I can start building mills. Mills are not advisable. It's you gather food much more quickly when you kill zebras. Yeah, so we advanced out of our base and lost all of our remaining guys, so that wasn't very smart. And now we're going to send the yeoman card, which makes longbows better. And the reason for that is that I can't really get to the coin on the map. You see that this is the coin. This is the coin. Oh, we're killing his vills, by the way. The coin in my base has all been used up. And so now I can't really afford units that use coin. Longbows use wood and food. So that's great. I can spam longbows now. And once you get to age 3, a potent combo is dragoons and longbows. Dragoons deal with the cavalry, longbows deal with the infantry. And you can mix some hussars in to do some raid and kill some vills. So we've managed to stay off his attack. And now we're just being a bit silly, building some mills. But as you can see, he's still only got 36 villagers. We now have 64 because every time you build a house you get one. We're continuing to build the wall. And because we sent that wood, we've got plenty of money for plantations and stuff. As you can see, these guys gather at 0.5 coin a second. Whereas somebody on a mine gathers at 0.72. So that's the advantage of map control, right? On the giraffes, this settler here will gather at 1.18 food per second. On the mill, it's only 0.67. So, big disadvantage to being on the mills. The advantage is, it's better than being dead, because if I sent my vills out here, they'd die. So we've got the 2 falconets. We're now going to build a culverin. And this is an anti-cannon cannon, because I assumed that he would have some cannons of his own. And it's got really good range. And now with our 2 falcons, we're going to start sieging him down. We've got lots of longbows now. His army's up here. He's got some more guys over here. He's not really fighting me yet, because he's just realised that oh, he's got his infantry, and these are anti-infantry, these longbow. And we've also got a bit of cav in case he tries to stop our guys. So we send the cavalry combat shipment to boost our cavalry. And now we're going to attack. Because sooner or later you got to push out and take the map back. You got to watch the Pathfinders, it's really tricky. And you see that because we've got massive range on these guys, he's got to watch out a bit more than us. Just move up the cannons, get him shooting that blockhouse. And here we go. Probably slow this down now. Big old fight. These Druid guys are pretty cool. I've not seen them before. And he's focusing down the falconets with his guns. So he does actually get the falconets. Because these guys apparently have a bonus against falconets, which is probably why he built them. But because he's been shooting the falconets, he's not been shooting the longbows. We managed to get a couple of bills on the side. And yeah, these elite Somali Darude sandstorms are actually pretty good. So we run away. He's not got enough cavalry to really chase this. So perhaps a preemptive attack on my part.
Commandment.
And these cavalry archers are anti-cavalry, but these guys are good against cavalry archers. Cavalry archers are dragoons, but for Russians. So just start speeding it up a bit again. But he can't really get in here now because I've got Fort Tilbury here, and everybody's on the mills. And I'm maxed out on villagers now. I've got 99 villagers, so my eco is huge. He's burning this down with some spearmen. And yeah, so we call the Minutemen on that. And remember that that Colonial Militia card is still in play, so these town centres do a lot more damage. I was trying to find his vills with some raids. Didn't really know that they were up here. And yeah, we're long past the build order, so I apologise for this diversion, but I figure there's no point in me just showing you the start of the game and then not finishing it. I feel like that would be worse than not showing you the whole game. But if you check the timestamps, you can skip this if you want. So he's now building cav, and we got some more cannons, but the cannons keep dying to Darude Sandstorm. I didn't really understand this unit, so I didn't really understand what I was up against. So they're classed as light infantry, so the longbows don't have a buff against them either. So he's spec'd into like normal cavalry now to beat the longbows, so now we're going to build dragoons. And he's still got people over here. But as you can see, my score's a lot higher, and the reason for that is that it's because of the build at the start. Like, we got a really good start into the game. We've now aged up, we're now age 4. And it really is just a matter of time. So these are dragoons, they're good against cavalry. So dragoon bow is a decent combo. And you just see that, you know, he killed some of our vills, but we still have 90, and he's on 47. So you never stop producing villagers, that's worth noting. And we get some factories out now. We're now in the very late game. Well, we're now in the late game. Most Age of Empires 3 matches take like 10 to 20 minutes. Now it's just, we just have the production, right? It's like World War II, it really is only a matter of time. So he's attacking us up here, he's drawing our attention. And so I decided, well, let's just go straight for his base then if he's attacking my base. And all my reinforcements can come here. We're losing lots of vills, but that's alright, we still have more vills than him. He's losing some vills as well. He kills that town centre. But yeah, we actually ended up sending the longbowmen back instead of forwards. And yeah, once you get a nice big ball of longbowmen, they can really dish out the punishment. Like I said, they're good when they're stood still, not when they're moving. So the enemy attacks you and you just stand there and just dish out the DPS. With the factory, we're now getting some rockets. And yeah, he just does not have the economy to fight me. His micro is probably a bit better. His unit choices are better than mine. This thing is actually really good against cannons. And yeah, like, we can just spam people out till there's no tomorrow. We've hit our pop cap. Meanwhile, you know, he's got like half our population. So just watching the cool fight here. These guys are weak against dragoons, I guess. Oh, never mind. Well, I suppose they are a little bit. And yeah, the writing's on the wall. The production, the difference in production is just too great. So he surrenders. So that was a bit of a tangent to what we were talking about, but basically the build kicked in about here, right? So this is when the build ended, basically, somewhere around here. So you see that when he attacked, we actually just had way more people than him. And that's the advantage of the build. So that does it for case study 3, I think.